Before we had falling asleep to a 12-hour-long Oblivion video essay, we had to doze off to the late-night infomercial.
What do you do for stains detergent can leave behind?
I'll throw you in my weight loss CD.
You're gonna love my nuts. It's so easy, one finger. Kids can do it.
When I was younger and actually still watched traditional television, your boy often found himself in the late-night twilight zone of infomercial hell.
That's how I generated over $50,000 a week.
And while I'd much rather have been watching Family Guy or King of the Hill, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have some bit of nostalgia for these commercials.
Years of wear and tear damage.
But now it's 2025. The infomercial is a dead art, and I'm left wondering, who were these strange men who often screamed at me from my bedroom television in the middle of the night? Turns out many of them have been involved in some truly absurd scandals, while others have passed away under bizarre circumstances. Let's begin. The ShamWow Guy versus Scientology and a hooker. When having a conversation about scandalous infomercial hosts, I think of no better starting off point than the guy who slap-chopped a prostitute over a tongue-biting incident.
Hi, it's Vince with Slap Chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day because you're gonna be slapping your troubles away with the slap chop.
Vince, the ShamWow Guy from the commercials, has been arrested in Miami Beach for allegedly beating up a hooker.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. How did we get here, and who is the ShamWow Guy exactly? Vince Shlomi, better known as Vince Offer, is an infomercial pitchman who first non-consensually entered our collective consciousness in the late 2000s with the ShamWow infomercial, which was blasted on television constantly.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. We're gonna do this in real time. Look at this. Put on the spill, turn it over. Without even putting any pressure, 50% of the cola right there.
Suck the coke clean out of that carpet. Jesus. The interesting thing about Vince is that he wasn't actually hired to promote the ShamWow. It was actually his product, and he paid out of pocket to sell it on TV after being dead broke just years earlier. But how did he pull that off? ShamWow was the fruit of years of toil, failed filmmaking ventures, and hustling at flea markets selling vegetable choppers. Before becoming a TV pitchman, Vince created a raunchy comedy film that bombed. And not only that, it drew the ire of the Church of Scientology, a church that he was a member of at the time. Now, in all fairness to the church, this movie does fucking suck. Some say it's one of the worst comedies ever made. However, the Church of Scientology took things too far, allegedly harassing and blackballing Vince from the entertainment industry simply because they thought he reflected badly on them for making his cringe comedy movie. But Vince wasn't going to let the Scientologists bully him. He said fuck the church and sued them for defamation. Taking things even further, he doubled down on pushing the movie independently, buying infomercial spots on Comedy Central and promoting his film in late-night slots, as like this secret underground comedy flick that the Scientologists don't want you to see.
Guaranteed to offend everyone.
The gambit worked, and Vince sold enough direct DVDs of his own movie to fund what would become his ShamWow venture, carving out his own independent and lucrative lane in television and sales.
If you call now, within the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day, we'll give you a second set absolutely free.
ShamWow was a massive hit. The commercial budget was about $20,000, and it ended up netting him what was likely hundreds of thousands, if not millions, but that number isn't shared by Vince. By 2009, he had become a big star in the world of product pitchers, an elite salesman only rivaled at the time by OxyClean legend Billy Mays, who we will be discussing later.
Hi, Billy Mays here.
After ShamWow, he struck gold again with the Slap Chop, a useful food slicer concept that Vince had seen back during his flea market hustling days.
Hi, it's Vince with Slap Chop. You're gonna be in a great mood all day because you're gonna be slapping your troubles away with the slap chop. Now look, here's a potato. One slap, you got big chunks for stews. 2 slaps, home fries in a second. You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this. You can do everything in the cover. It's so easy, one finger. Kids can do it.
The Slap Chop came around right as the modern meme-obsessed internet was taking form, and the zaniness of Vince and his commercial also works to make him an early living meme of sorts. Let's just say the online world couldn't get enough of the guy, and a YouTube poop or two may have been made.
Hi, it's Vince with Slap My Nuts. We're gonna be in a great mood all day because we're gonna be slapping my nuts.
Yes, Vince was living large. People were going gangbusters over his products. The internet loved him. What could possibly go wrong? Well, it seems the money coming in along with the fame turned the guy into a bit of a party animal with a taste for hookers. And now he moved to a career-threatening incident that would dwarf the Scientology spat. In March of 2009, it was reported that Vince had been arrested after an incident involving a prostitute. As the story goes, he gave the 26-year-old woman hundreds of dollars to do a deed. But when he went in to kiss her, she bit his tongue. This reportedly caused Vince to panic and repeatedly punch her until she let go. Because of this, the cops got involved and both of them were actually arrested. I mean, she almost chopped him, so he slapped her. Or punched even. It was the punch chop.
Slap chop.
Photos from the aftermath show Vince bloodied and battered, with the story going viral for both the absurdity of the crime and also the fact that, well, the fucking ShamWow Guy was involved.
Vince, the ShamWow Guy from the commercials, has been arrested in Miami Beach for allegedly beating up a hooker. The good news is presumably Vince, the ShamWow Guy, had something with which to clean up the mess.
While things looked grim for Vince, he caught a break as the charges were dropped against him and the hooker. Apparently, the DA felt neither were more at fault and just let the matter go. For literally anyone else, this incident would have been a career ruiner, but not for Vince. After all, his business was built independently and he had enough good grace with the public to kind of take the hooker incident in stride. He even plays into it from time to time.
Check this out. We got our sponge, we got our mess.
Relax, I've done dirtier things than this.
Sticky makes you look your best, even for those unforgettable moments.
Vince's charge is probably the softest that you'll see in today's video, and he's somewhat unique in that he's still actually successful in life and not dead or facing legal destruction as we speak.
I mean, even BLACA, Black Lives Association Kingdom of America, has given me the N-word pass.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that Vince recently announced that he would be running for Congress in Texas. Do some Googling on this. It's a real thing. And now time for a little infomercial of our own. Yeah, your boy got a G Fuel sponsorship. 16-year-old Wavy would be shitting himself right now. A life goal has been accomplished. So I'll keep it quick. I'm just here to tell you that it's Black Friday week and G Fuel has an insane buy one, get one free deal going on. Every day leading up to and on Black Friday weekend, they'll be dropping brand new G Fuel tubs with slick cyber themes to them, and it's time for you to get your hands on two for the price of one, baby. So head on over to my G Fuel link in the description and use code WAVYY at checkout to get some of these special G Fuel tubs buy one, get one. Infomercial scammer found dead after being arrested.
This is one of the most incredible things that I have seen.
The second way to make money that I stumbled onto was placing tiny classified ads in the newspaper.
Don Lapre is the quintessential TV con man. He styled himself as the king of infomercials, which is not fucking true, by the way, that's Billy. But his story is insane and ended in death. While not as well remembered as the others on this list, his offerings were by far the most egregious.
Don, all these people got your making money package, started placing tiny classified ads in newspapers just like you showed them, and now these people are making a fortune. I'm jealous.
Cindy, I stumbled onto this after trying 1,000 different ways to make money. If I hadn't stumbled onto this, I'd still be painting houses.
Don's primary scheme was simple. He promised viewers big money and lavish lifestyles if they followed his business guides, which were essentially nothing more than rudimentary tutorials on how to create classified ads in the newspaper, you know, to promote your own small business venture.
One tiny classified ad in the newspaper that makes just $30 to $40 profit in a week, it could make you a fortune.
Employing classified ads back in the day was a good strategy, but it's not going to grow a business on its own. But people took Don's word and the guy raked in cash for these glorified get-rich-quick guides. But these garbage guides weren't what caused Lapre's eventual legal trouble and subsequent death. The scam that would eventually lead to this guy's downfall was this. Don shilled a supplement that was literally called the greatest vitamin in the world, advertising it in his infomercials nationwide. What exactly made it deserving of this title? Nobody really knows. The commercials were essentially word salad promises of a better life, and desperate suckers were willing to take a chance.
In nature, all raw foods contain all components necessary for proper absorption of vitamins and minerals. Without a delivery system, your body is expected to use its own supply of enzymes and minerals to properly digest the supplement.
Don would continue this scam under different brand titles, with one later example being known as Nutri-Foria, which I swear to fucking God I've heard of that. What? Am I being brainwormed right now? Do you guys remember Nutri-Foria? Why does that sound so familiar? Looking at old archives from his website, it's pretty easy to tell he used these sort of miracle supplements as a platform to launch what was essentially a glorified multi-level marketing scheme. Documents outlining the company's commission structure are still viewable. They boldly claim that, quote, if you sell 200 bottles total in any given month, we'll give you a $2,000 bonus check so your income will be $4,000, unquote. This guy was really hitting all the bases, selling bogus medical products, operating a multi-level marketing scheme. He was literally the GOAT of being a snake oil salesman on television. All of this sleazy behavior would eventually catch up with the guy though, as authorities would take notice after reports came in. In 2011, it was being reported that Lapre had been indicted by grand jury for a variety of crimes, all related to his fraudulent business practices. He would unfortunately never face justice, however, as he was found dead in his jail cell from what was believed to be a suicide attempt. CBS reported that sometime after being arrested for failing to make a court appearance, the man was found dead, lying in a pool of blood in his jail cell. Before he was locked up, one last ominous message was posted to his website, which read, quote, I did not have the perfect company, but never once did I allow one thing to be done that would violate any law. I am left to fight a battle that will for sure destroy what energy I have left inside. Never stop dreaming, and for all those who sent me testimonials of what you did because of some of my help, I'm grateful I made a small difference in your life. The Billy Mays death mystery.
Hi, Billy Mays here to make your life a whole lot easier. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Putty. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Mended. Big City Slider Station.
Crocodile Cutter.
Sorbies. Years of wear and tear damage.
I must admit, Billy Mays was something of a childhood hero of mine. I grew up with this man and his infomercials. He was in my TV rotation right up there with the greats like Ed, Ed and Eddy, Dexter's Lab, SpongeBob, you name it. Maybe I'm weird, but I would unironically watch these infomercials and enjoy them.
Ever wish you could turn back the clock on Mother Nature?
There's just something about Billy. He's wholesome, wildly entertaining, and had an uncanny ability to make just about anything seem worth your money. Like, why is 12-year-old Wavy asking his mom to buy a fucking handy switch?
Billy Mays here for the Handy Switch, the new wireless light switch that lets you control any lamp from anywhere.
From OxyClean pest control products to zany-ass burger pans, Billy was seemingly willing to sell anything, and he did so in iconic fashion time and time again. Billy began his career in marketing, advertising products on a boardwalk, honing his skills, trying to sell things to people in public. He's reflected on his early times, quote, people were walking by half drunk, broke from losing their money in the casino, and you're trying to sell them something they don't want. It was the best training ground in the world. He would achieve his biggest success, however, when he became the official spokesperson for OxyClean in the year 2000, with the commercial becoming an integral part of many people's childhoods and spawning numerous memes in the process.
Use it all around the litter box and watch your cat go fucking ape shit in an instant.
His charismatic aura and sales magic made him the stuff of legends. But sadly, Billy's reign as king of the pitch would be cut short due to rather morbid circumstances. On June 28, 2009, it was reported that Billy Mays had been found dead at the age of 50. His wife discovered his body in their Florida home.
Florida police say TV pitchman Billy Mays has died at his Tampa home. Authorities say Mays was pronounced dead Sunday morning after his wife discovered him unresponsive. A fire rescue crew pronounced him dead at 7:45 a.m. There were no signs of a break-in, and investigators do not suspect foul play.
I just woke up right now, and I went and looked at him to roll him over, and his lips are all purple.
Are you with him now?
Yes.
How old is he?
50.
Is he awake?
No.
Is he breathing?
No, and he's cold.
This death was a complete shock to the public, as Billy was relatively young and in seemingly good health when he passed, which leads us to the surprisingly complex circumstances surrounding his death. Initially, the cause of death had been speculated to have been the result of some luggage that had fell on top of Billy during a flight, this flight occurring just a day before his passing. The thought being that he may have suffered from an undiagnosed concussion. There's even interview footage from shortly after this luggage incident, and in it you can see Billy doesn't really look all too great.
As we hit, it was just a hardest hit. All the top, things from the ceiling start dropping, and it hit me on the head, but I got a hard hit.
At first, this luggage head bump explanation was accepted by the general public, but it wouldn't be long until an autopsy revealed that he had actually died from a heart attack. It wasn't clear as to how it had happened, but some were quick to speculate it could have been because of drug use or something we weren't aware of behind the scenes. I mean, people always joked the guy seemed a little too enthusiastic on television, so people were like, he's on speed or he's like on coke. Well, when more details were revealed, that theory seemed to have some credence. It was discovered during autopsy that Mays was on hydrocodone and tramadol. He was on this medication for hip pain that he had been experiencing. But it was emphasized by the medical examiner here that there was no evidence that he had been abusing these drugs or that it was directly contributing to the heart issue. His wife, Deborah, made a statement to the press saying, "Although Billy lived a public life, we don't anticipate making any public statements over the next couple of days. Our family asks that you respect our privacy during these difficult times." Despite reassurances though, when more detailed toxicology reports were released to the public, a different story was told, with the details being outlined in an article by the San Diego Union Tribune. While it was true that Billy had pre-existing heart issues, it was discovered that he had been using cocaine at least a few days prior to his death, and that it was likely a contributing factor to him passing away from a heart attack.
The Hillsborough County autopsy classified the 50-year-old's death as natural, but said cocaine use contributed to the heart disease that killed him. The independent examiner found that Mays had mild obesity, a history of smoking, and 2 close relatives with heart conditions. Other medical conditions consistent with chronic cocaine use, including kidney disease and stroke, were absent in the autopsy findings. County officials say they stand by their initial report.
Billy's family was obviously not pleased with this information being revealed to the public. After all, it threatened his legacy as the, wholesome, family-friendly pitchman. His relatives said that they had never been aware of him abusing this type of drug at any point, saying they were going to pay for their own third-party examination of the autopsy report to set the record straight in their eyes. A subsequent examination was performed by a doctor hired on by the family, Dr. William Mannion, and his findings seemed to suggest cocaine had nothing to do with Billy's heart attack. Quote, "The autopsy specimens and findings are not consistent with the cardiac conditions normally observed in a person chronically using cocaine." Given the conflicting stories here, my takeaway is that Billy didn't die from a cocaine overdose, for sure, but I do find it somewhat absurd to think that him using coke in the days leading up to his heart attack had nothing to do with it. I mean, not medical advice, but we're gonna just say it had nothing to do with it. I mean, like if I ate some Nashville hot chicken and then died 2 days later, I would say that the Nashville hot chicken had something to do with it. I mean, maybe I had fucking diarrhea and got dehydrated. In many ways, this has actually become the commonly held belief by the public. If you look around online, most people seem to have it in their heads that Billy died from chronic cocaine use or that he actually just suffered from a coke overdose. There have been many jokes and memes relating to Billy's coke use as well, which has helped cement this false narrative even further.
I love powder cocaine, don't you? Well, let me show you the world's greatest crack guaranteed.
Whatever the case, the hunt for the true cause behind Billy's heart attack remains something of a speculative quest. I think it's safe to say that we'll never really get full closure on this. After Billy had passed away, he was replaced as the OxyClean spokesperson by his business partner and friend Anthony Sullivan. The two were close, but it's never going to be a true stand-in for Billy. Rest in peace, Billy Mays, and may the legend continue.
Kaboom! The gentle giant.
The MyPillow guy's history with crack and getting sued by a guy named Coomer.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America.
The MyPillow guy is an eccentric fellow, known for his fluffy pillows and bombastic TV commercials. But behind this smiley man is a history of drug use, and as far as what's ahead of him, well, he could be going bankrupt for supporting Donald Trump to a somewhat delusional level.
Mike Lindell. He's being sued by a former executive for Dominion Voting Systems who said he faced death threats after Lindell spread false conspiracy theories about the company in the 2020 election.
Mike Lindell is the eccentric founder and creator of the MyPillow, which is a unique pillow made with special foam designed to fit different sleeping preferences and head positions. Essentially, you can kind of, like scooch around the fill of the pillow to fit however you lay on it, your sleeping style. A wonder of science, I know. Not sponsored.
I have a patent on this pillow, and what it is all three sizes of my fill are in every pillow. This stuff was warranted 10 years. It won't go flat. But the best thing it does, wherever you set this, okay, and so you first get comfortable on your pillow and you're like this, and you go like this, and now, Connie, I want you to feel that. You see how that holds?
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. It will change your life.
Mike created numerous infomercials that seemed to constantly air on television throughout the 2010s, capturing the attention of audiences with his signature stash and gregarious persona. It also helped that the MyPillow itself was actually pretty decent and had a huge satisfied customer base.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Before MyPillow, Mike worked in a variety of hustles and jobs, one of them being bartender, and this apparently led him down a path that wasn't so comfy, a path that ended in drug use. Mike has long struggled with drug use, specifically crack cocaine, and while he's off of it nowadays, it's speculated he came up with the idea for MyPillow while geeked out of his mind. I'm actually kidding about that last part. Mike claims that after getting off of crack, the idea for MyPillow came to him in a dream, which just sounds like a corny product origin story that he pulled out of his ass, but I've never heard of a lying crackhead, so I'll just take his word for it. After his prophetic crack hangover vision, Mike began sinking the money that he used to spend on crack into the MyPillow idea. Mike became this wholesome figure who had overcome adversity and drug use, and the sky was the limit with MyPillow. But then things got political. You see, Mike eventually became incredibly invested in politics, voicing support for Donald Trump early on in Donald's first campaign. Over time, Lindell became more and more obsessed with Trump, engaging in controversial rhetoric and conspiracy theories that divided his once fervent customer fan base. Initially, this vouching for Trump sort of worked in Mike's favor, as he courted MAGA supporters who would in turn buy his MyPillow stuff. Things would turn sour for Mike, though, not long after Trump lost the 2020 election against Joe Biden, a man who is infamously sleepy because he doesn't own a MyPillow. After the loss, Mike got right in line with Trump and began publicly claiming that the election was a complete fraud, and specifically made claims that the Dominion voting counters were used to facilitate it. Dominion being a company that makes these computers that tally votes.
It's not even real when it was done under suspicion, but then when this is revealed, and it will be, I give everybody my promise, it will be. We didn't come all this way, and God didn't do, fighting evil to lose. Now's your chance. We're not going anywhere, and you better stand up, because if you think that you're doing it for personal agenda and you're gonna be around if they take over and turn our country into socialism, they ain't taking you.
Mike's constant schizo posting about Trump and Dominion resulted in retail outlets such as Walmart refusing to sell the MyPillow, deeming the man too controversial to associate with. And this was a huge hit to his revenue. In addition to this, American Express, after learning of Mike's statements about the election, would cut his company's credit line from $1 million to just $100,000, which limited the scope of his business. Mike says this in particular crippled him financially.
MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has been a staunch supporter of President Trump, and now he's the latest ally of Trump to be facing backlash for spreading false claims about the U.S. election. This time, though, from both consumers and major retailers as well.
Things would only go downhill from here, as he would get embroiled in a lawsuit with a man named Eric Coomer. This individual had been a higher up at Dominion Voting Systems. Mike had made statements suggesting that this guy was trying to facilitate a bogus election with his machines.
Eric Coomer did this directly to me, and I made one statement about him. Didn't say nothing for a whole year. Then you guys come up and serve me papers in Colorado. Boy, I'll bet there's statements after that, wasn't there? Then everybody knew that what he did to MyPillow and Mike Lindell, how dare him come and sue MyPillow? He's a scumbag for doing that. Put that in there, scumbag, S-C-U-M bag. That's what he is, for what he did to me.
But this employee-owned company is punching back, sir. Tell me about it.
Well, Steve, I had to jump into a room here. I'm in the middle of a deposition for a big attack on MyPillow right now.
Mike was eventually found liable for defamatory damages to Coomer's reputation. The jury awarded the guy $2.3 million. Eric reportedly coomed in his pants when he was awarded the sum by a judge. Dominion itself still has an open lawsuit against Mike and MyPillow. Good luck in court, big guy, and stay away from the pipe. So I'm just gonna call this chapter, What Actually Happened with Jared Fogle.
Here is Jared Fogle. You may have seen him on the news or a talk show. He was inspired by Subway's great-tasting sandwiches.
This is an individual who really needs no introduction, so I won't beat around the bush here. Everyone knows the story of how Jared, the once beloved Subway spokesperson known for losing weight only eating subs, and then he becomes a pedophile that gets arrested back in 2015. He is a very much reviled and disgusting individual and has been mocked by this point in pop culture left and right.
Jared Fogle, the Subway guy. Oh, Lord. I'm just fucking with you.
That was too far, man. Jared Fogle is a genuine fucking menace. Absolutely not. I did not like that.
Yeah, he's a pedophile.
That being said, I would imagine most of you watching don't know the specific details surrounding his case, and that's what I'll be discussing today. So I know this guy isn't technically an infomercial host, but I'm including him here as a commercial host because, like it or not, he's one of the most well-known pitchmen of all time for a multitude of reasons. Most of the information surrounding the crime and how he was caught originates from the Southern District of Indiana's attorney's office, which is what I'll be referencing. As the story goes, Fogle's disturbed obsession began all the way back in 2007, later admitting in court that he traveled across state lines to engage in sexual acts with underage prostitutes. This illegal activity ramped up in intensity in 2011, when he found out that a man he knew named Russell Taylor was sexually exploiting a teenage girl. Instead of exposing him, the two became co-conspirators, with Taylor providing Jared Fogle homemade CP content. Taylor achieved this by secretly installing cameras in the rooms of underage girls throughout his home, distributing the material. He also managed to find CP online, with much of it also being sent to Jared Fogle. This went on for years, and keep in mind, Jared was the fucking spokesperson for Subway the entire time. He admitted that in Indiana alone, he had exploited over 12 underage victims. In other instances, he would actually pressure victims to try to find other minors that he could engage with. Eventually, he and Russell were both caught after offering CP to the wrong person and being reported. There was also a massive effort from numerous law enforcement agencies to nail Jared for his crimes and send him to prison. In the end, the guy pled guilty, having to pay $1.4 million in restitution to the individuals that he victimized, as well as being sentenced to 12 years in prison. A 2025 article from People magazine outlines his life in prison as initially being tumultuous. He was often attacked by other inmates. Based on letters obtained by outlets, though, it seems that Jared unfortunately hasn't been experiencing as much hardship as you would hope. With the guy gloating about how he's in like the best shape of his life from working out and he gets to watch a lot of NFL games. It can't be overstated how fucking insane it is, though, for a guy with this much popularity, fame, and intrinsic tie to a major fast food franchise to get exposed for something so vile. Like, Subway did not background check this dude. And well, you made it to the end of the video. Let me know what you guys thought about this one down below in the comments section, and let me know who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.